Today we're making fresh spring rolls. You know, those ones made with the very fiddly looking delicate rice paper that taste amazing and are often put in the too hard basket. Well, guess what? They're not as tricky as they look. With a few tips, you'll be making these for yourself and serving them to guests before you know it. Well, these fresh spring rolls, rice paper rolls, summer rolls, or Vietnamese spring rolls as they're sometimes called, aren't going to make themselves, so let's get started. These are the things we need. I'm going for vegetarian fillings today. Here's some red cabbage, carrot, spinach, salad sprouts, and fresh mint. And of course the rice paper and vermicelli noodles. Rice paper rolls taste so much better with a dipping sauce. In fact, I think it's the dipping sauce that makes them. We're going to make a peanut dipping sauce today. Here's what we need: peanut butter, crushed garlic, almond milk. You can use cow's milk or any milk substitute, or even water to thin this down a little. Rice vinegar, golden syrup, sesame oil, and soy sauce. The first thing we need to do is prepare our filling ingredients. I'm going to thinly shred the cabbage. The thinner you can do this, the nicer it is to eat. You really don't want fat chunks of vegetables inside them. Plus, the thinner the fillings are, the more surface area there is to soak up that delicious dipping sauce. We can julienne the carrot. Once again, I want to keep this nice and small. You could use a mandolin or a julienne peeler, or even do it by hand like I am. I'm not being pedantic with these, they're not really going to be seen. But when I was at chef school, the head chef would scrutinise our vegetable cuts, making sure each one was perfect. I'm going to cut these sprouts a little smaller so they fit nicely into the rice paper roll. We can also thinly slice our fresh mint. Coriander is lovely and fresh too if you have some. And red capsicum would make a lovely addition here too, both in colour and flavour. But they're not quite in season here in New Zealand yet. When I'm selecting my filling ingredients, I'm thinking about the colours that will look great together and the flavours that will complement each other. Here we've got the purple red cabbage, the bright orange from the carrot, and a lovely green from the spinach. This is baby spinach, so I'm going to leave the leaves whole as they're very soft. If you're new to this channel, welcome! I'm Taryn. We eat with our eyes before we even put anything into our mouths, so food presentation can make such a difference to our food. I love making food fun, delicious, and visually appealing, and on this channel, I like to share my tips and talk about these aspects of cooking. I hope you enjoy them and can benefit from them in your own kitchen. Now that our fillings are ready, we can add some boiling water to the vermicelli noodles. They don't take much to cook, so just pour over some boiling water and wait a few minutes. It's all that's needed. Drain off the liquid and we're good to go. Here's the rice paper sheet. Look at it. It's firm but quite delicate. I've got a bowl of warm water to dip them in. Warm water seems to soften them quicker. We're going to dip our sheet into the water until it's soft and translucent. This only takes a minute or so and then it's ready to use. Look at that sheet. Rice paper sheets are super thin wrappers, traditionally made from rice, water and salt, and they can be filled with almost anything. I usually make these on a damp tea towel so they don't stick to the surface I'm working on. Then we can simply pile in the ingredients slightly nearer to the bottom of the sheet. There aren't any rules for this. Go with your own creativity. I've got leaves, noodles, and then the salady bit. Now we can roll this up. My preference for this is to fold the bottom over the filling, then fold in the sides and roll it up. trying to keep it as tidy as possible. Once it's stuck though, so just go with it, otherwise it'll rip the delicate rice paper. How simple was that? Definitely not as fiddly or as tricky as it looked. I'm making very petite rolls. They can be made bigger using bigger rice paper sheets if you like. These make a lovely lunch when you feel like something a bit different. They're also perfect for a finger food or even an appetizer. Adding meats or seafood are lovely additions too. Don't these look great together? Be careful not to pile them on top of each other, as they will stick together. Now what are we missing? The sauce. Let's whisk this all together. I love this peanut dipping sauce, but you can make a sweet chili vinaigrette style dipping sauce too. Or if you need to avoid peanuts, use a different nut butter. I'm just adding some milk to thin this down. It's a bit like Goldilocks. We don't want it so thick that it's not really a dipping sauce, and we don't want it so thin it runs off. It needs to be just right. I love the colour of the sauce when the milk is added. If you're adding water, it'll be a slightly darker brown. Let's plate these. I'm sure you've probably guessed I'm going for a dark plate to contrast with the pale spring roll colour. I'll put a bowl of dipping sauce in the middle and surround it with the spring rolls. Spring rolls you deep fry are completely different. These are not them. These are for eating fresh, just like this. I don't recommend trying to deep fry them. I tried that once and they bubbled up and soaked up so much oil. It wasn't fun, it wasn't delicious, and it definitely wasn't visually appealing. Well, what do you think? Is it too fiddly? Or is it in the too hard basket? Or are you going to give them a try? Let me know in the comments below. If you're not up for branching out and want to make something more traditional, why not give open Danish sandwiches a go? Here's a video to show you how. See you over there. Happy spring rolling!